situation with us financing this house is very unusual.
No, I don't think so.
What we've discovered is that because I'm so intertwined financially with all the wives and interconnected, that anytime I'm involved in financing something,
it's very confusing for anybody who looks at our finances. So they keep asking for more stuff and more.
Cody and Robyn Brown's excessive spending has become a major issue for the family. Today in 2025, there are a couple of women fighting to get reimbursed for the money they contributed towards the property on Coyote Pass. They want to reclaim funds they say they provided for Cody and Robyn's down payment on a home that has already been sold. Now they have a new property because Cody can never seem to stay in one place long enough for a creditor to catch on to any fraudulent activity. Just my opinion. Cody and Robyn have always struggled to afford a home on their own and have depended on several other women to support their lifestyle. Now those women are demanding what they are owed. We've discussed on this channel how men in polygamous relationships often operate this way, believing that all the money belongs to them while the women are left to fend for themselves. The money belongs to the men, which means that the women, in their eyes, have no right to claim any of it. The women are viewed as property, just like the money, so when a woman leaves, she's fortunate if she receives anything at all. This is why it's crucial for a woman to secure her position as a legal wife, as it provides her with a means to claim financial support in the event of a divorce from Cody. It's also important to note that Robyn was planting seeds of doubt and suggesting that leaving was an option for as long as she was part of the family. When they discussed the idea of building one house, I revisited earlier episodes and realized that Cody actually came up with the house plans in this concept because it was what Robyn wanted. There was an episode where Robyn met with the other women titled "Why Not One House?" and she explained that the need for this house stemmed from because they wanted to be seen as first-class polygamists. She mentioned that polygamists are often perceived as poor, living in poverty, relying on food stamps and Medicaid, and misusing the welfare system. She aimed to create a world where they had more, where being a polygamist was associated with a higher status. When that dream didn't materialize, Robyn, like Cody, felt upset. Robyn then pointed fingers at Christine, blaming her for ruining Cody's vision of a single house. However, the idea of one house was actually Robyn's from the start. She even confessed to Cody that it would be wonderful for him to build one house, similar to the ranch his parents had in Wyoming. We decided we were a family, and the day you choose not to be a family anymore, you need to have an asset to sell as you move on. We can buy you out. I'm just being realistic here, you guys. I don't want to trap anyone, and I don't want to feel trapped myself. I know not every relationship is perfect right now, but I don't think anyone is seriously considering leaving, but I believe we should all have the right and freedom to do so, even Cody. I feel that Robyn influenced Cody, making him believe they should pursue this one house idea, even though he knew the other women weren't on board. As the devoted wife, Robyn was encouraging Cody to chase his dream of a grand home, likely because she wanted a palace for herself too. It seems to me that this one house concept was a double-edged sword. On one hand, they desired their own palace, but on the other, they understood that if they didn't get it, they could always tell everyone else they were free to leave. So, regardless of the outcome, there was no real victory. If they did end up with the one house, it would be solely in Cody and Robyn's names since they are the legal husband and wife. The only way for everyone else to be included would be if they were on the mortgage, which would be quite difficult. Building a 16,000 square foot home in Flagstaff at that time would have cost millions. Cody and Robyn were aware that building this house would cost around $4 million, and they both knew it was unlikely to happen. In the midst of this, they began advocating for anyone who wanted to leave to have that option. Cody framed it as a need for a buyout and an asset for those who wished to exit. This raises the question: why would he suggest this if the family was meant to stay united? If they had all agreed to be a family forever, why offer a buyout unless they realized that the idea of the house was just that, an idea? This situation worked out perfectly for them because when the plan ultimately fell through, Cody and Robyn could easily blame others, saying it was Christine's fault or Mary's or whoever else. Personally,
I want a huge house. I just know what I want. I want a big home for family to come home to. My big goal with having a big home out on this property is for our kids to come home.
Once the idea of a single home fell apart, it was clear what happened. They never built it. Yet Robyn clung to her dream of having an enormous house. She envisioned a space that was truly vast. When the home was built, Robyn dreamed of a place where all her kids could return. She never gave up on the idea of having a palace for the king and queen. She envisioned a space where her children could come back with their own kids to stay with their mom and dad. However, I doubt they ever truly had a home. Her parents, Paul and Reva, were not wealthy. Paul Sullivan worked for the city and struggled financially. The family never had much. Robyn has always faced financial hardships, having come from extreme poverty. Over the weekend, I spoke to someone who knows Robyn to gain a better understanding of her background, as I've always found her story puzzling. Robyn grew up in severe poverty on a cult compound in Ravalli County, Montana. She lived in a trailer with a father who was lazy, rarely worked, and was both abusive and controlling. A true megalomaniac and egomaniac. Her mother, Reva, was the first wife, but that didn't change the dynamics with her father and the other wife. The other wife felt trapped because her father, Robert, was an extreme narcissist and very controlling. The role of a wife meant nothing to him. He contributed nothing, leaving the women to fend for themselves. When Robyn's mother finally left him, they were living in a trailer. Robyn grew up in a trailer on a compound associated with a cult, and they were very poor. They later moved to St. George, where Reva ended up with Paul Sullivan, who was 15 years older than her. They never lived in the same city, and despite the change in location, she continued to grow up in poverty. After high school, she returned to Ravalli County in Montana, where she lived in a trailer with her husband, David Preston Jessup. When she and Preston divorced, they were in a single-wide trailer that was less than 1,000 square feet, along with their 3 kids. They lived on a cult compound, but they were not part of the cult. Eventually, she moved back to Utah after deciding to leave Preston. Preston is in so much debt that she has her sights set on something else. Something bigger, something more. She never had a dime until she met the Browns, and the Browns didn't have a dime until they started the show. Now all the money she has is built off the backs of everyone else because Robyn has not had any other job besides appearing on Sister Wives. The other women were juggling 2 or 3 jobs alongside their work on Sister Wives, but Robyn never had to take on another job. Sister Wives Closet hasn't been selling since 2019 and barely made sales after 2017. Robyn hasn't been working at all other than being on Sister Wives. She is the oldest daughter from her mom's marriage to Robert, but she became the second oldest when her older sister, Lisa, was born. Robyn has been trying to outshine her older sister and the rest of the family, living in a bubble of pretentiousness. I was asking someone who knows her, a relative of Christine who is cousins with Preston, is close to Preston, and I asked why she would keep spending so recklessly. She explained that Robyn came from such poverty that, according to this family member, there's no time to think about saving money when you have so little. Money is spent as quickly as it comes in, and there's no education or guidance on saving or budgeting. The idea that Robyn could learn to budget was seen as laughable because she has never done it. Robyn's shopping habits are compulsive. It's an addiction for her. She gets a rush from buying things, and since she never learned the importance of saving, she doesn't know how to do it. Neither does Cody, who also grew up very poor and shares that same mindset about money as this family member pointed out. There's no talk about saving money, no concepts about 401ks, and no one is considering estates because there's nothing to inherit. Cody and Robyn are focused solely on the present, acting as if their resources will never run out. They have definitely relied on the other women to support their lifestyle, which is a common dynamic in polygamous relationships. The husband often has a favorite wife, and the other women end up supporting both him and her, receiving whatever they can. Robyn knew how to position herself as the favorite. She leveraged her skills to achieve that status. She has always dreamed of living in a grand home, wanting to be part of a compound and embody the ideal image of a wealthy polygamous family. Robyn has a specific vision of how she wants to be perceived, which is why she clings to this lifestyle. In my view, it's less about faith and more about her desire to showcase her wealth to those around her, almost as if she's saying, "Look at me, I'm so affluent." They're spending more than they're earning, and they're doing it at a pace that's unsustainable. Cody is acting like a wealthy man, but he's not thinking like one. A truly wealthy person saves money. People don't become rich just by making money. They become rich by saving it. If Cody had invested his money wisely instead of just claiming to have assets or even just put it in a bank for some interest, he would have some savings. Right now, he's just collecting things to create the illusion of wealth. For Robyn and Cody, it's all about appearances, showing off affluence and saying, "Look at me." Now that they have women pursuing them, They want to forget that in season 14 Cody said he would buy them out. He insisted, "I will buy you out. We will buy you out. You need to have an asset for when you leave." That was a recurring theme he proposed. "In a few years we'll buy you out." So when they approached him saying, "You promised us a buyout. I want my buyout," Cody responded that they had no money. This was because Cody wasn't thinking about the long term and likely never intended to buy them out, knowing he didn't have to. Both Robyn and Cody admitted on the show that women who aren't married to the men have no legal rights to anything. They have to rely on the husband or his wife to act fairly, which they never intended to do. Now the consequences are catching up with them. Currently they live in a home that resembles a compound. I looked it up on Google Earth and it has a gate surrounding the property. It's situated on 2.5 acres. Not a massive compound, but it definitely has outbuildings. It looks like what you'd expect if someone wanted to have multiple wives. The guest house is something I'm sure she'll want one of the kids to stay in. Maybe Dayton or perhaps her mom. I'm not certain, but they seem determined to hold on to this idea, even though the show can't continue as it has. Their spending habits stem from their upbringing, and a friend and family member mentioned to me that what they see in Robyn is a trauma response. While it doesn't excuse her actions, it does help explain her behavior. It's a reaction to growing up in poverty. Her interactions with Cody, marked by possessiveness and manipulation, are rooted in the neglect she experienced from her father, the abuse she endured, and the feelings of abandonment when her dad left. Growing up in an unstable environment surrounded by abusive men, she was taught by her father that her only purpose was to bear children, leading her to believe she had no value beyond that. Now she's still trying to demonstrate that she has more worth and power than just her ability to have children. This friend says it was important for her to be the top wife because it was her only way to have any kind of authority. She didn't want to feel powerless, but now Cody and Robyn still hold all the power. At some point the situation will change. It's just a matter of when. Christine's lawsuit is ongoing and Janelle and Mary's lawsuit hasn't even started yet. The fight over Coyote Pass is still happening. But Cody and Robyn now have a home with a minimum mortgage of $111,000 a month, plus taxes, insurance, and homeowners association fees. Yes, that's right. I found out there's a homeowners association for their property which is located right next to an active cinder mine. This mine drills for cinder and rock, releasing carcinogens into the air. Residents in the area have complained about pollution and health issues. They literally moved next to an active cinder mine, and Robyn was the one who wanted everyone to be cautious about health concerns. The irony is striking, and it might explain why the home has had so many different owners over the years due to the drilling, noise, dust, and debris. This has been a significant problem in the area for years, which raises the question: will Cody and Robyn ever face consequences for their? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.